Hi everyone, today what we're going to be doing is the final installment in our series about the 2024 Republican primary between Mike Pence on the Republican side and Nikki Haley also on the Republican side obviously, but she is behind right now. And it's worth noting that we've just got word in recently from the Josh Hawley campaign, and the Josh Hawley campaign has just announced that they are suspending their campaign. It was a lot better than a lot of people had predicted. They won 2 states, got in second in a bunch of other states, so they did much better than people thought. But the Hawley campaign is now suspending their race. He has not yet made an endorsement and is waiting to see who will be the nominee until he endorses a candidate, he has said, between Pence and Haley. So today we've got a few more primaries that we'll be taking a look at. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Well, it's pretty much just the rest of the primaries. So let's go ahead and start off. And it's worth noting you need to get to 1276 in order to be the nominee. Let's start off in the state of New Jersey, which is a winner-take-all primary. And we can assume right now Mike Pence probably going to go on and take the state of New Jersey. Next state, the state of South Dakota. This one, again, could be tight between Pence and Haley. Those are the 2 candidates remaining, but we're going to assume that Pence goes on and takes the state of South Dakota. In the state of Montana, that's the next state we're taking a look at. In Montana, we're going to again assume it's a winner-take-all. We're going to give that one over to Mike Pence. And in the state of New Mexico, we're going to be, this is a proportional state. This one, again, I think is going to be quite tight. I could see something like a 12 to 10 split between the two of them, a 10-point margin there. So, right now, before we go into the state of California, Mike Pence is at 1183 delegates, shy of the 1276 he needs. Nikki Haley is at 715. She's obviously running as the underdog there, and then all the rest of these candidates have already dropped out of the race. But in the state of California itself, we will be taking a look at who will win California, which could very likely decide who the Republican nominee is, if it is indeed Nikki Haley or if it is Mike Pence. And I think this state of California is going to be very, very close. And even though Trump won it in 2016, I think I'm going to need to give it over to Nikki Haley at this point. Now, this may seem a bit odd, but again, it is a winner-take-all situation, and we're giving it over to Haley because I think that moderate message and will really work for a lot of these California voters. And when you've got Mike Pence with you, he I don't know if he'll do very well in a state like California. He reminds me a bit of Ted Cruz, and he did really poorly in California. So I could see Haley taking a very narrow California win. And with that, we are now at toss-up 0, and we're at a contested convention. So no one's at 1276, so it's deadlocked, and it goes to a contested convention. Now, what this means for the Republicans is, see all of these candidates here? What we're going to do is, because Pence is leading and he's probably going to get the nod, we're going to actually assume all of these people, except Marco Rubio, who I think would hold out and endorse Haley, but Trump Jr., Hawley, Carlson, Ted Cruz, and Rand Paul, we're going to all assume they go ahead and endorse Mike Pence, which I think is the more likely situation. So, if you add up Trump Jr. with 70 delegates, add up Josh Hawley with 407 delegates, Tucker Carlson with 1 delegate, Ted Cruz with 7 delegates, and Rand Paul netting 0 delegates, then you get 485 delegates. Now, 2/3 of these delegates are what we call district level delegates, and 1/3 of them are what we call state level delegates. So if we divide the 485 into 3, that means you have 162, you've got 162 statewide delegates, and then you have whatever that is times 2. Then you have 323 district level delegates. So what that means is that, or let's just do the Haley endorsement for 7 delegates. The 7 delegates, a third of those 7 delegates, that would be 2 delegates, are statewide, and a third would be statewide, so that's 2 delegates for Haley, and then the rest of them would be district level delegates, and so 5 district level delegates to go to Haley, and then 162 statewide, and then 323 on a district level delegate. So the differences between the statewide delegates is these statewide delegates, they will just be reallocated proportionally. So Rubio's 2 statewide delegates, it doesn't matter his endorsement, so that would be 164 of those delegates that are from a statewide situation. They are just divided proportionally in that case. So in this case, you've got Pence with his 1183 delegates, plus Haley with 887. Then you've got 2070 delegates. Right. So now what you do, oh, sorry about that. Let's just go back to the calculator. Now what you do is, what was that? 1183 plus 887. You've got 2070 delegates. Those delegates are reallocated proportionally. So 2070 delegates divided by, it's 887 divided by 2070 delegates. That means that Nikki Haley gets about 43% for Haley of those statewide delegates. So that 43% would be 164 times 43%, which is 70.5. So we'll round that up to 71 total statewide delegates for Nikki Haley. Now, if you go ahead and do the same for Mike Pence, his 1183 delegates over 2070 gets you to the remaining delegates 57%, and then math here. So his 57% of the delegates, what you actually do is the rest of the statewide delegates. So Haley would get 43 and Pence would get 57%, because that's how much popular vote we assume that they get. That means that the remaining 164 now delegates, the 71, so 164 minus 71 is 93. So the statewide delegates are 71 for Haley and 93 for Pence. Let me just get another post-it note here to do the district level delegates. The district level delegates are much simpler. The district level delegates, whoever endorses the nominee. So for example, if Rubio, for example, his 5 district level delegates, they all go over to Nikki Haley. So now what that means is, if you add up Trump Jr. and so you go open brackets. Let's just open this a bit more. You go Trump Jr.'s 70 delegates added to Hawley's 407 delegates, added to Tucker Carlson's 1 delegate, added to Cruz's 7, added to Rand Paul's 0 is 485. Then you do 485. 2/3 of those are obviously the district level delegates. So you do times 0.666667, and then you've got 323 delegates. 323 delegates, and all of those 323 all go to Pence. So then if you add Pence's 93, 323 plus 93 is 416. That means in total, Mike Pence with 1183 added to his 416 that he got from reallocations, he gets 1183 plus 416. He gets a total of 1,599. And the last thing to do is, if you just take a look at the, where is it? 1276. 1276 times 2 gives us the total amount, 2552. Subtract away Pence's 1599. And you get Nikki Haley with a grand total of 953 delegates after reallocation. So, the final standings after all of that math is Mike Pence wins the Republican nomination with 1,599 delegates. Nikki Haley comes in second place with 953 delegates. So that was quite the process to go through there. But yeah, so it is quite difficult to do all of that, but I hope it's all for the better. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, and good night.